Today, I'm feeling nostalgic. I feel like a completely filled scrapbook, no white space, where the photos and the scraps are faded from the sun because the loving family that put it together just used it so much. And you might be wondering, Georgie, why do you feel that way? Well, let me tell you. It is not often that I am in the presence of an alternative indie music artist. This isn't just any music artist. She is entirely in her own category of sound. It's like when those parents try testing their kids' music knowledge and they'll play a snippet or a second from a song and the kid will instantly get it a second in. That's like this artist. You instantly can recognize it from the hip-hop beats, the breakbeat sampling, or the absolutely angelic vocals. You just know that she is in a category of her own. But that's not all she is. And let me fill in the gaps for you. She's an artist, a performer, a professor of visual arts, a unionist, and a musician. And since 15, she has been musically inclined with projects like Saucer, Patch, Octocube, before evolving into her own name and persona that we all have known to love and fangirl over. And of course, she has faced much success with beats and breaks from the Flower Patch, Lost Tapes, and now EP Bits and Bops from the Flower Patch Volume 2. And you know what they say about Volume 2s, that there might be a 3. So let's cross our fingers. So today, UCLA Radio is in for a treat. She is a busy girl. She's a working woman, and I have been graced by her and her management to have a piece of her day to talk, to hang out, and to really get to know her. So I'm excited to introduce the brilliant, talented, beautiful, hardworking, show-stopping woman that is Pamela Valfer, also known as Kitty Craft.
Oh my goodness. That is such an introduction. You set the bar high. I don't know if I can reach it. Wow.
Us college girls got to write essays.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. What a kind introduction.
So let me just start off with, how do you like the campus so far? Have you ever been to UCLA? I've heard you've done college interviews before. What is your opinion on that?
I have. I mean, I love college interviews because it's just like, I don't know, everyone's really cool. Mm-hmm. and it's just really lovely to meet new people. Yeah. And it's been a great experience. UCLA, I do come here because I have some doctors over here, but I have not traveled through the campus. Mm-hmm. And
it's a maze.
It's might I add, I will say the worst signage that I've ever been.
You heard it from her, folks.
The worst signage. So those UCLA admin, worst signage.
Whoever's in graphic design. I'm in architecture. I do graphic design, really so maybe I can really improve on that.
You should hire her to actually put signage around your campus.
Yeah,
to make people feel
make it more ADA compliant, and fix the elevators.
Yeah, few things.
Let's get on that. So, can I call you Pam?
You may.
First name basis.
Of course.
All right, let's get into it. So, I was at your concert at the Vermont last November.
Great.
And can you confirm that is your first on-stage performance in 20 years? Is that true?
I can confirm.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
How did it feel to transform, or I guess incorporate, a lot of your past artistic self into that live environment today? And do you feel like revisiting that older material influences your current creative self?
Okay. I would say that that show was a huge surprise.
It was so fun.
I remember when we were Garrett and I were talking about we should play, and we're like, what if we rent out a 50-seat place? Do you think people would show up? You have a cult
following. You actually, we were just talking about that. You have the biggest cult following.
God. Oh my goodness.
You go on Reddit, people are always talking about it.
Really?
Yeah. Always.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
The kittens and the
I'm
litter.
unworthy.
Yeah.
That was just, I think it was a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise. And I think that love, I think what was so inspiring about that first show was like the wave of like love coming from the audience. It was like, even the promoters, like, I've never been to a show that just had that much good vibes. Like a little
I guess it was a mosh pit at like the very end. Everyone was going in a circle and like people had like kitten and bumblebee hats. I was like, this is like the most pure, innocent mosh pit I've ever seen. Like, I loved it.
I know, me
and
too.
I was barricade, so I was like, I'm not losing my spot, but I'll record you from where I'm at. Like, but it was very, I think, like one of like the warmest concerts that I went to, and I had like met so many people at that concert that just all the intentions felt so good.
That's what I mean, I felt that wave coming at me, and it was just, it was again unexpected, and just, I think that was the first time where I really got to know my fans and how awesome they are.
Especially a younger generation too, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, it's very like, because I saw people from like middle school there, and I was just like, wow, like all the way up to like the age 60, and I was like, this is like the best thing ever. Like, I really like can't complain. It felt very safe, I would say. Like,
there's like an earnestness and like a real kindness to
and I feel like androgynous really brought it together. Like, that was
thank you.
A very beautifully done.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I want to say, would you ever say, with your experience going to teaching in the arts, would you ever say a student has ever offered you a new perspective in visual arts or even within your own music? Because students really do bring, I feel like,
110%.
Is there like any like notable like experience that you ever had a student, or like has their mindset ever made you think a certain way?
Oh gosh. Trying to think of something I can recall. My memory's so bad. I think I can tell you an exchange with a student I had years ago that stuck with me. And then I think that exchange affected the way that I think about my place in being a teacher. I was teaching a community college class. This was many years ago. And it was a drawing class, and it was an older student who came up to me and said, today I was jogging on the path that I jog all the time. And it was the first time I really noticed things.
Wow.
And that was, I was like, mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Because my job is done. Like,
like, that's your goal.
That's my goal, is to just, and I always start off class by saying, like, I'm not going to teach you how to draw. I'll give you some tricks and stuff, but really it's about looking.
Like your own perception.
It's your perception and how long you can, stare at this microphone for an ungodly long amount of time.
Yeah, I had read that in a previous interview where you were talking about like one of your philosophies is like you try to teach students to like really like deconstruct everything around them. And I feel like that's really interesting. Like, do you feel like that has had a large play in your music? Because music itself is kind of, especially with like sampling and everything, like you're like deconstructing things and putting them together. So like you see that a lot musically, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think I always sort of, I feel like I'm like a grand DJ. Like I take things in the world and I move them into different places and recontextualize, rejuxtapose. And I think that the same holds for teaching. Is I think if you can walk out really looking at things in a different way, I think that affects your whole life. I mean, maybe I'm just telling myself something because I teach art, but it feels like a profound shift. It was for me personally.
I mean, I feel like that's actually kind of like our entire being. Like, it's like we're so much smaller than we think we are, and it's just like everything is something greater. I feel like I don't know, like maybe that's like a religious take, guys. Like maybe we're getting religious.
It really, like, I think when you get into like the top end of like philosophy, art, and science, like there's this point where like if there was a Venn diagram in front of me,
they'll like all intersect.
They intersect at a point, and it gets really witchy.
Oh, let's not think too much right now, guys. we might get existential.
I know.
Speaking of teaching, have you ever used Rate My Professor?
To rate a professor or be rated?
Like, to be rated. Have you ever looked at? Really?
Oh, yeah, I looked at it.
What's your opinion? Because I looked at yours too.
Oh, it's bullshit.
No. And I feel the same way because I've had multiple professors where I've looked on Rate My Professor and I'm just like, I feel like the student really just didn't put in the work.
Well, I know. And that makes me glad to hear because it's like in one aspect they'll be like, this was the best teacher that made me really life-changing, really challenged me. And then the other's like, if you don't show up, you won't pass.
Exactly. You'll have like teacher's pet. You'll have a variety of that comment.
Did they stop doing the chili pepper?
The chili pepper?
Do you not know about the chili pepper?
What's that?
Oh my God, I'm dating myself. So back when it started, or in the early years, you could give a teacher a chili pepper, which meant they were hot. Level? They were hot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never got a chili pepper.
Like a physical rating?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I knew. Problematic, we know.
Yeah, in 202025, that's not
no
happening.
Bueno.
Yeah, not happening.
But I don't know. I was like, no one gave me a chili pepper.
Hey, I'd give you a chili pepper, though.
Thank you.
That's crazy. I did not know that existed.
It disappeared. I guess it disappeared for logical reasons.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that would make me pretty self-conscious. Like,
well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you get a chili pepper, you're like, ew.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, you're like, aw.
Yeah. Well, there's both sides of the spectrum,
yeah.
Really. Okay, so speaking of studies, I told you previously that I'm an architecture student, so doing some deep digging, I was excited to hear that you are also familiar and interested in architecture.
I am.
And so you've spoken about how architecture, especially utopian forms like Corbusier, we should talk about that, can mask political intentions that can overlook emotional and social realities of those inhabiting the space. And so I was looking at your portfolio and I was really drawn to your project Shine. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, that was a show I had. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nod towards Adorno and the culture industry and the layout of the project itself. And so I wanted to know your thought process and intention behind creating something like that.
I think now that was a show that happened in 2016, like early 2016, like this summer. And that, for those that don't remember, that was the year that that person was elected.
Yeah.
This was way before. I think it was, I can't remember if they were running yet. Anyway.
If you say it, we'll bleep it out.
Okay.
Cuss word.
Okay. Good. So I've been thinking about sort of like embedded agendas in architecture, in space, in spaces more broadly.
Yeah.
And what started this was I spent about 4 months in Ireland. I took a group of students from Minneapolis College of Art and Design on a semester abroad.
International.
It was life-changing for them and life-changing for me. It was amazing. And what struck me about the experience was that every time you saw something, and maybe you can relate, is that you would be like, oh, it reminds me of this movie. It reminds me of this TV show or whatever. Yeah. And it was like, oh my gosh, my memories are all simulated. Yeah. Like my memories that I have as a reference point for experience, I never are unlived.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that, mountain or whatever.
Like there's so much that came before you.
There's so much that I took in, and that's my only yardstick to look at things by. And that really started getting me thinking about, if that's true, like what is the whatchamacallit, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the implications of that?
Yeah.
And what happens if who's controlling these things that are implanting themselves as real experiences in our mind? And so that led me to thinking about spaces.
Yeah.
And it led me to the whole brutalist movement and modern architecture, because really it was like these high ideals about like
all politics.
It was all politics, but really it was like, a lot of the architecture didn't work very well. Didn't function very well.
Exactly.
And people had to move out because it was terrible.
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of, white guys sitting in a room planning
dictating
what would be best
for people that aren't like them at all.
Right. Yeah. And so I started thinking about the political implications of that. And so I kept thinking about going into my own history of like fascism and my family escaping Germany.
Wow.
And so that got, and Hitler was really into, you can believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one, not the one we're dealing with, but the other one.
Yeah. Literally round 2. Round 1 and round 2.
We'll call him 1.0.
Yeah, thing 1 and thing 2.
Love
How
it.
about that?
Love it.
Tweedledee, tweedledum.
He was also an architect.
Yeah.
And very interested in the power of ruin theory. Have you heard of the ruin theory? Where like I feel like I'm giving a lecture. I feel really bad.
No, hey, we got the teacher in the room.
Okay.
Let's get educated.
Ruin theory, for those who don't know, was sort of came about, and I can't remember if it was thing 1 or thing 1's best friend, Albrecht Speers.
Haven't heard of him.
He's the architect.
Oh,
that
really?
Actually, Albrecht Speers was thing 1's architect.
Oh, okay.
And so he would
try to put everything into action.
He put everything into action. He would come up with his own ideas and present them to thing 1. And it would. So he was very interested. Thing 1 was very interested in the power of architecture, even past its life. So, like, he was very jealous of like Roman ruins.
Yeah, I'd heard about that.
And ruins in the Middle East, because you could sense a community, a culture's power, even through their ruins.
Yeah, that can last.
That can last forever.
Lifetime, yeah.
So that's why everything was like, colonial, Ionic, Doric things. Like it was
neoclassical.
Yeah, and you know what? Thing 2 just made you saw that?
Yeah.
Thing 2 just declared that all new federal buildings have to be in a classical style.
That.
So
I just hate that so much because it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's just like, I don't know. That's the problem I have with neoclassical is like they see those older buildings and they see it as a sign of power, but it's like they really just can't make anything new and like declare their own kind of power. And it's like kind of interesting too, because like you're just stealing from other cultures. Like you're just reinforcing this thing that's like something that's not yours is taken. I guess
it's not even. I guess it's not even stealing. It's just. Yeah. It's just taking it direct. Like they're not adding anything.
Yeah.
They're not.
If anything, they're making it worse because the columns that they make don't even hold up.
It's like
the
a
building.
PetSmart version.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
just a facade. It's all. Yeah, literally. It's a facade. And so it's like, I don't know, like there's really no substance behind it because you can see that there was like an effort to like give or like some sort of intention to show power, but it's like you almost see it as less powerful when you see that.
I know.
Structurally nothing makes sense.
In a way, it's kind of awesome because its commentary on itself is that it will not last throughout time.
Exactly.
And so that's a very
analysis.
Opposite.
Let's
very
go.
Opposite.
Let's go. Oh, I wanted to say too on the point of architecture. Are there any pieces of architecture or public works that have influenced you in certain ways, whether that be creatively, politically, or emotionally? Like any notable pieces?
I would say I have like kind of the head and the heart. I have architecture that has like titillated the head, and then I've had some that have really like hit me like a
emotionally
like a sucker punch.
Can you name the two that you can think of for head and heart?
So head would be Corbusier is definitely one of them. And I did one piece once where, like in Minneapolis, where I spent most of my time, there was like a public housing, and it had like, those color blocks, Mondrian-esque, Corbusier-esque things. And so, I did a series of drawings where I would isolate, a few balconies on the building, and I drew them very realistically, but it was a direct mirror of like a Mondrian painting.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. So it's like combining it into like
I turned them into Mondrian paintings, but if you look close, they're actually little doors and little like.
Why isn't that on your portfolio?
I don't know.
Put it up. Come on. I got to see more work here. More research.
And then in the heart, I would say, actually, there's a few public art pieces in Germany around World War II that I have to say, they do monuments like nobody's business. Like I'll tell you about two. Okay. One is the Holocaust Memorial in Berlin.
Isn't that like a huge statue of a bunch of like multiple figures?
Well, there's a few. The one I'm thinking about is like about a block big, and it's there's a slight grade to it, but you don't notice it very much. And then there's these black sort of granite obelisks surround you, and as you walk through it, you suddenly you're surrounded by them, and you can't. It's like a maze, and you can't find your way out.
Oh, so you feel like helpless inside.
You feel it's a example of fascism in that it's slow, and before you know it, you can't get out.
That's interesting.
It's powerful. Don't go in the summer because everybody's like laying around and having picnics on it, which we could have another discussion on.
Defeats kind of the purpose.
But I went like in the middle of winter at night at like 10 at night by myself, and it was like,
I bet that
was so profound.
Yeah.
And then there was another memorial in Kassel, Germany, where I was doing a project where there used to be in the city square a kind of an obelisk that was put up by like a Jewish person that lived in Kassel, Germany back in turn of the 1900s. And the townspeople like destroyed it during Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. Yeah. And so there's a memorial there where they did like the obelisk building, which is huge, and they inverted it.
Wow.
So it goes down into the ground, and there's
it's just
water.
An abyss.
It's just an abyss.
It's kind of reminds me of like the 9/11 memorial, where it's just you're looking down,
right?
And it's like all the water's like going down. But that one's probably a lot more like, because I guess obelisks are way more like narrow, right?
It was to scale, so it was it went.
Oh, that's a real hole.
It's a real hole, and then there was water cascading down it, and like I was like. Again, mic drop.
Mic drop. Wow, it's emotional. Also, like on the subject, I guess kind of like going into Adorno, you could say, and I guess like how I know York Shine had some like commentary on like Adorno, and like you had Germany and America, and how like people in America kind of like cope with social or ignore social and political issues by, I guess, consumerism, basically, and like product of capitalism. And I was thinking about like the music industry currently, and I was just, your music presence really made me think about it and like realize like, I guess like how calculated the music industry could be. I guess like, it's kind of weird. Like it feels like a lot of music now is kind of like there's more to the music in the sense of like a visual presence or like a press presence where it seems like it's not just about the music, it's about like the image that you're curating. And so I wanted to ask, do you feel like, especially with a rise of listeners in your music, that you feel a pressure to force yourself be creative sometimes in terms of like a social media presence? Or I know you don't have like music videos, but do you feel like pressured to like create more of a visual presence for yourself?
I don't know if I feel pressured, because I think it kind of just comes naturally to me. Like anybody that follows my Instagram, it's like I just post stuff that makes me giggle.
Whatever.
Like
cat videos.
Cat videos to some serious stuff to like information about this and that. And so like I just look at it as like, I don't know, I would have probably just posted some of that stuff on my personal one if
everything's intuitively done, I guess.
Yeah, for me it is. And so I mean I'm always kind of generating ideas and stuff. So it doesn't feel pressure necessarily for me. Yeah.
Cuz I know like I guess like with a lot of younger artists, it's like they'll probably like feel like a reliance on, let's say, like social media to like get their image out there and like build up an image. But I mean, you've been around for such a long time, but I was just thinking like the rise in listeners and like you being put on Spotify and like you having this growing cult following. But it seems like you're very like, I know you're a very humble artist, and I've heard past interviews and stuff, but it's just always a curiosity, I guess, because some people do feel pressured to like really, I guess, like if they're like, oh, like a lot of people are listening, like I want to provide them with like more of me, you know?
Right. I think yes and yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I totally agree with you. And I think in a way it's a bit of a kind of screws with your mind, is like, today is probably the most DIY environment that you could possibly find, because back in the day, you know, you had to send a tape in the mail to somebody and hope they like opened their mail and listened to it, and it was very hard to kind of like contact and if you wanted to meet people, you had to like tour. So that's why record labels were so indispensable, because they could be that machine.
It's a reliance.
And so you're kind of like captive. Where here it's like you can put out your own stuff on digital platforms. You can have social networks and kind of like communicate with your fans directly. But then there's the dark side of it, right? Like, nothing is purely in light or purely in dark. And I think you're right. I think a lot of like young musicians do feel really pressured to have that like social media presence, and they don't. And when fans come up to me and they're like, you know, I want to make music, or you know, what do you recommend? And I'm always just like, make music that you want to listen to. I mean, I know it sounds so simple, but
practice what you like.
Just make music that like entertains you, and if it can pass your sniff test,
then you won't have
then some other people might enjoy it as well.
That's true.
And same with social media. I think like, I think having social media definitely helps get your music out there, and like, you know, like certain record labels won't even like look at you unless you have a certain amount of followers and that kind of stuff. But I would look at it as more fun for yourself, and like, I think variety of postings is always good. And what would you want to see? Because I think people are like, oh, I have to post about the music for every post, and then it's like, oh boy, that's a lot.
I like the variety you give.
Oh, thank you.
It's fun. It's fun. I think we all follow Kittycraft.
Holla.
I follow Pamela's account too, you know.
For those, well, now they'll know, but for those that are do the deep dive, there's a few stragglers that find my personal account.
Exactly. But the kitten video is really, they keep the image like it's really Kittycraft.
I know. And I'm a little bit, I have a love-hate relationship with it, you know. Like I don't want to be like, I want to be impactful, and I want to be meaningful, and I don't want to be just like a distraction, like, you know, cat videos are like, but at the same time, like giving people just that space of like a little giggle is kind of super important right now.
It's true. A mix of everything is good, but it's also good to use, you know, I know you use your platform in the right ways too.
Oh,
so
thank
it's like,
you. I try at least. I mean, I'm better at times than others, but I try.
And I guess like speaking of like the cat videos, I know in like your Shine project you had like the collage of, I guess, you know, the capitalistic elements and I guess more nature elements, and then you had the cat video and it was you in the game show, and it's like the cat video is like behind you, like taking over your body. What was the meaning behind that?
So great catch.
And there's like glitter, like balls of light shining on the cat.
Because I was actually using the cat video as a critique of sort of the anesthetizing of like, you know, like follow the bouncing ball, you know? And so I was
like mind numbingness.
Yeah, just kind of like, you know, so it was a bit of a critique.
I like that actually.
Yeah.
It just made me think about it.
Joke's on me now, huh?
Yeah, I bet if I was in the exhibit, I'd really be thinking about it.
Did you see the space that was?
I saw like a floor plan, but I couldn't read what the floor plan was.
So the floor plan was thing one. Back in like 1924. This is while he was still like a struggling artist. He would do these imaginary architectural floor plans. And what he did in that was, well, rewind. He did a floor plan for his imagined like German National Museum. This was like a first iteration of what he wanted it to be before he was anything in his sketchbook.
Interesting.
And so if you look at the floor plan, it's like laid out, and then you'll notice that there's a line that runs through the floor plan that he wants you to experience the art in a certain way, in a certain order.
Yeah.
And then the names of the artists he wanted on the wall was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
He really planned everything out.
Right. Ultimate control, right?
Yeah.
And so what I did as a kind of... The space that this show was in was actually one of the galleries from that floor plan built in the gallery.
Oh, so you like mimicked his sort of floor plan. And did you place the screens where you showed the videos in the exact space where he wanted?
I did not. It was more a little bit of like kind of a transitory space. Mm-hmm. So I took liberty.
Okay.
I felt like I could do that.
Change it.
Yeah, I feel like I could.
He's not here anymore.
No, thank God.
You have the power.
Thing 2's taking it over. But
yeah. Don't let him take your power either.
No, so ironically it was kind of like a warning.
Yeah.
And so also the architecture that I had built, it was like a room in a room. Mm-hmm. And I left it pretty raw. Like I sanded the walls, I mudded and sanded, and I left all the dust on the floor.
Yeah.
And so like as you walk through the show, you made the same line that Thing 1 drew.
Wow. This is why you're an art professor. Give her another degree, guys. Like, for real. On the subject of media.
Yeah.
As a creative, what are some films that have really impacted your life, or you feel like you've dissected them in a way that like has affected you, like, let's say, like artistically, or maybe just personally?
Personally, there's a film, Harold and Maude.
Never heard of it. Harold and Maude?
Have any of you? No? Okay, this is your homework.
Okay. Assignment 1.
Assignment 1.
Open canvas.
It's a movie directed by Hal Ashby.
Okay.
And I generally watch this movie on my birthday every year.
Aww.
I kind of don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
But it's amazing. And it's from the 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
Is there a surface level summary you can give us? A hint at what we're getting ourselves into?
I kind of don't want to. I feel like
okay.
I'm just gonna like park it there.
Okay. Hey, don't give me a ticket.
And I feel like that's kind of been a real inspiration for. It reminds me how I want to move through the world.
Okay. So is it kind of like a life movie?
Yes.
I love those movies.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen Perfect Days?
I feel like I have.
It's about this guy who works for the Tokyo toilet. He like cleans
restrooms.
No,
I wanted to see that.
It's really good. You would love it.
Okay. Perfect Days. That's my homework.
Yes. Exchange of assignments.
We'll
do each other's homework.
Yes.
How about that?
And then I want to know what you thought of the movie.
Okay. It's like for the assignment I'm assigning you.
Yeah.
You would really, it's a very, again, like a life movie.
Yeah.
It's like one of those slower movies where it's just like day to day. It feels really the same, but like there's an underlying meaning.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. So that's what your movie is kind of.
Yes, it's a little bit more, it's the repetition. It's not quite like that. Mm-hmm. It's more just about, I guess, seeing life in a different way.
I'm excited.
Seeing life in a different way, but repetition. Well, there is some repetition to it, I guess, but not in the same way that Perfect. I wanted to see that, and then I couldn't find it on like streaming.
It's one of my favorites now. I don't know where I watched it actually. Have you guys watched Perfect Days? Damn. So no, I got 2 assignments.
I totally wanted to see that.
You would really like it.
I would really like it.
It's very. The main character is just a very like humbled person that like gives a lot.
It's just like finding those
but I won't give too much away.
Well, I think those movies that remind you that joy lies everywhere, in very small things. And I think sometimes we get lost, in the woods of life, and we can't kind of like. And so I like the movies that bring us back to.
They're very grounding.
Kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? It gives us a. My God, my mind's blanking. Sublime experience. Mm-hmm. And being sublime is like basically, in short, feeling inconsequential in the face of something larger than yourself. It diminishes. You diminish yourself so it can be often. A lot is written about the sublime in art and beauty, where something is so beautiful it can kind of bring you back and,
Yeah.
to yourself, and you feel sort of,
I feel like otherworldly.
you feel
very
feel
small.
You feel small in the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's Schopenhauer, I think it was Schopenhauer, or was it? Yeah, Schopenhauer wrote something about where like danger can also create a sublime experience. So I thought
like
about
fight or flight.
kind of, yeah, like think about, I know in California there's no thunderstorms, but
Yeah.
back where I'm from in the Midwest, there's thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And like the smell of a storm rolling in, or a tornado, and just that feeling.
It's like a trigger.
It really, so it's not just beauty, but it can also be fear.
Yeah. Wow. That was beautifully said.
Oh,
I love that. I'm glad we got that on camera. Yeah, I like that. Let's make a quote out of that. And in terms of music media, what do you feel has been the most emotional piece of music that you've listened to lately?
I think this question's really hard because honestly, since 2016, since Thing 1, all I can listen to is jazz.
Okay.
That's all
I like that.
I like. That's the only thing I can kind of tolerate at the moment.
Okay.
And so like they're like, "What's the new bands you like?" I'm like,
Yeah. I just like instrumental. Is there any specific jazz bands that you were like really drawn to, or do you feel like you just like putting something on shuffle and just getting a little bit of everything?
I just picked up this vinyl, Pharoah Sanders. Turntable Labs had like a release of like a vinyl version. This is very old jazz music, and it's like super mellow, spacey.
Nice.
A
collection? Like they released a collection of different artists?
No, it was just a Pharoah Sanders.
Okay.
There was like a live record, and but the one was called Thursday Afternoon, I believe. So kind of like spacey experimental jazz.
Yeah.
Is like my jam.
I like that.
But like, don't ask me about new music. I feel so terrible.
No, you're good.
I'm a terrible human.
You're good. Everyone's music taste is different.
I know. That's all I can tolerate right now.
Sometimes there's ruts. Like sometimes I just can't. I like listening sometimes to just the trees outside.
Yeah.
People talking. I don't know.
It's the thing that brings me the most comfort.
I like that. What would you say is the one thing that you've been exposed to that you feel like has altered or made your music career the way it is today? So something that you feel like would have made your art entirely different if you didn't witness it or experience it. Oof. Like a groundbreaking moment in your life.
I think when I left my band Saucer, I quit. I kind of pulled a Lou Barlow Sebadoh move where when he left Dinosaur Jr., he just kind of hit the 4-track real hard. And so I hit the 4-track real hard and experimented a lot. I was doing like needle skips and things of that nature. Like
that's cool.
And, I did some guitar songs, and then I was experimenting. And I think playing with like the needle skips and trying to do like real lo-fi loops, like in the lowest fi way you can think of like,
I feel like that's hard. That's like hard to master, right?
Well, I would never say I mastered it.
Yeah. It's an experiment.
But I think that sort of led me, was like the gateway drug, if you will.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, also, happy late birthday. I saw Lou like said something on a podcast, so like a little happy birthday message.
He did. That
was big.
That was big.
I was excited for you. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That was actually a gift from my boyfriend.
There we go.
Best gift giver, Garrett. Best gift giver.
I'm trying to get a gift like that.
I mean,
how did you do that? He pulled a few strings.
I think they have a podcast. He listens to it, and I guess they do birthday shout outs. But the way he showed me, like I was over at his house and we're just doing something, and he just turns on the TV and it's like a podcast with those, and I know he likes it, and so I was like, oh. And then it took me probably about a good minute
to realize
that they were talking about me.
That's funny. That's so funny.
It was really quite beautiful.
That's beautiful. I guess in terms of Saucer, I didn't like hear about it in any interviews or anything, but like how did Saucer, I guess, like how did the project come to an end, or like what made you want to leave? Like did you have like an inclination to, I guess, experiment with music by yourself? Did you feel like you kind of had like a separate like idea or agenda towards music?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty young, so I feel like, you know, in life when things like don't feel right, it's like you like them, but it's just, you're kind of like,
The gut feelings.
it's like the gut feeling of
Yeah.
like, you know, this isn't, it's like your intuition saying like, you know, it's time for you to move on. And, you know, I love those guys. It's nothing about that. But it was like a band of like, there was like guys and me. And I just felt like I wanted to kind of like find my own voice and like, yeah. So I decided to walk away and just do 4-track stuff for a while. And then that's how Kittycraft started.
Do you feel like with it being mainly guys that you feel like you were ever underestimated in any sort of way?
100%.
God. It's so hard out here.
110%.
So how did you battle that? Were you like very vocal about like how you felt being underestimated in those situations, or did you feel like you kind of kept it internally and then moved on with Kittycraft?
I think the difference between like Pam now and like Pam in her 20s is like I'm more vocal about it.
Yeah.
And I have the confidence to stand my ground when I feel like I need to stand my ground, but not too proud to not like take advice if it feels right as well.
That's true. Because I know like I've been in some situations in the past where I feel like I've been like underestimated.
100%.
Or I guess like trying to learn the guitar, like sometimes like a guy will say like, oh, like I think you could learn this, or yeah, like it's just kind of like small comments where it's just like I feel like you underestimate like what it could be or like what I could do. And so it's just like, do you feel like looking back like there's ever situations where you're like, I wish like I had like said something differently, or do you feel like everything kind of worked out the way you wanted it to work out?
I think things have fallen into place because I can't say without those I wouldn't be who I am today, right? Like it takes a history of experience to sort of help you evolve.
Yeah.
And so but I also came from a really like, my mom never hesitated to speak her mind.
Okay.
For all good and all
That's
bad
good.
that says.
That's really good.
So I sort of was put into the world and I kind of expected equality, and then I was like shocked when I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Do you feel like you ever like see that like now or experience that now ever? Like let's say like going into a venue or like setting up or something, or like do you have any interactions where it's like you still notice that?
Oh, 100%. I'm working on something right now where yep.
So you're working on something.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm working on something.
Hey, I said there was a possibility for volume 3, so maybe we'll get that. Is there a particular lyric of yours that you will always think of as your best lyric? Like something that you think is so good that you can't top over anything else? Or a song, lyric or song.
Well, I'll say one that is kind of witchy.
Okay.
So like, this is weird. So like the first line of the first song of Beats and Breaks, which is like my first full-length record I ever put out, is it's part 5 and it's Lost Train to LA. I was living in Minnesota. I never thought I'd live in LA.
Yeah. Oh. So it's foreshadowing.
It was like a psychic foreshadowing.
Yeah. Wow.
So that always like when I was like, oh my God.
It's like a manifestation.
It was like a manifestation.
That's really cool.
Like decades before I moved.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? I already asked this, but I was asking about favorite newer bands emerging in the scene, but we got jazz.
I mean, I think...
Or anyone you want to like give a nod to where you see that they're like putting in a certain effort, or someone that's like notable to you.
I think that, I mean, I'm friends with the guys from Chatterton. They're really sweet and awesome, kind of like pavement-y.
I'm seeing them tomorrow.
Oh!
With Coma Cinema. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Coma Cinema is pretty good.
Yeah.
But Chatterton is their opener.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, yeah.
No, my friend and I are like, we're excited. But I agree. Yeah. Very pavement-y.
Yeah, very pavement-y in good. What I find so interesting right now is that all the bands of my era, because like late 90s, early aughts is like coming out of the woodwork and getting, the only reason that I am where I am is because Garrett said one day, we started dating, he's like, oh yeah, you've got like a catalog of music, you should put it out on digital, because people should just hear it. And I'm like,
this is why we love Garrett
because it all started with like, oh, that's a great idea, I should do that. And then it just kind of like got energy.
Is there a moment where you realize that energy was like really accumulating and you're like, wow, like I didn't expect this? Like, did you ever have like a...
Well, that show at Vermont was one of them. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, after like a hiatus, it's like, that's big.
That was big. And then like, I think also I've played a few shows since then, and like there was one of them where people were singing All Right. Like the whole crowd was, to a point where I couldn't hear myself in the monitor.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. That's impressive. That's like pat yourself on the back type
Well, I
thing.
don't like patting myself on the back. But
this is what we mean by like cult following. Like everyone loves the songs. Like it's fun. It's fun music.
I'm gobsmacked and just feel so lucky and just honored.
Are you excited for your upcoming East Coast tour?
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
And it's gonna be when the leaves are changing, so it's gonna be a really beautiful drive.
Seasons.
I know.
Lucky.
I know. Yeah.
Do you have any, I guess, advice to the young, impressionable minds at radio who, whether it be them not trying to have a career in music or whether they are trying to have a career in music, what is some advice for someone in their 20s that you would want to give out?
Don't sell your publishing. Like, I own all my publishing.
Yeah.
I only license.
It's a good autonomy.
It's a good autonomy. Like, now all my old bands are like trying to buy their master tapes back, you know, and trying to do that. And I mean, it's always a risk to sell your publishing, but like, license.
Yeah.
And also just, again, do stuff that amuses you, that entertains you. Try not to like be like, oh, here's like a well-worn path. I think that's a big thing, is people feel like they have to follow like the well-worn path to the destination. And I've never succeeded at anything I've done doing a well-worn path.
And that's like thinking long-term, like planning something out.
Well, it's just like, well, first I have to, I have to get a record deal, and then I have to do this. And like, there's 20 million ways to get to Mecca. Yeah, that's true. And so creativity and thinking outside the box, that's when I've tried to do the well-worn ways, rejection.
It's going to be messy getting where you need to go regardless.
It's messy. So just try to have fun while you're doing it, and don't feel like you have to follow a certain pathway.
I agree. And everyone in this room is going to implement that after this. So thank you, Pamela. Pam, for having us at UCLA Radio. It is September 5th, 2025. And just thank you for having us on. It was amazing talking to you. You're a very genuine, sweet, very smart woman. We all look up to you in this room.
Oh my gosh.
So we're very lucky to have you at the station. And thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you, UCLA.
Let's go, UCLA. Fix your signage. Bye.